Meeting of Northfield Center, Macedonia, Northfield Macedonia Cemetery Board of Trustees on May 7th, 2020 at 1:00 p.m. This meeting has been advertised on both, on all the community's websites, and it has
Okay,
also.
so this is the meeting
There
of
we go.
Northfield Center,
Give me a second.
Northfield Macedonia Cemetery Board of Trustees.
There we go. Okay, I shut that off. Sorry about that. So it's been advertised and it's being live streamed now. So let me call the meeting to order. So it'll be Tully.
Here.
Weichert.
Here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first order of business is the minutes, and I had sent you a copy of those, the minutes of March 26, 2020. So
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so all in favor,
Aye.
and then we'll record the mayor as abstain. And the motion passes and the minutes are approved. So the next order of business is to review the budget for the cemetery. I sent you a number of pieces of information related to the budget. Probably the most important is this one. I can share that with you, which is a breakdown of the budgets. Let me get that for you for a second. There it is. I can share it. That is a breakdown of previous income, what's in endowment, what's in expenses, and then kind of what are the options here. If the community assessment is 150, 155, or 160. Last year, the assessment was $150,370.95. I also gave you, let me stop that. I also gave you a breakdown of those various scenarios here. Let's see. Did I get that right? If I can see that screen. But let me stop that for a second and make sure I got the right one. But at 150,000, we should end the year at about $264,000 with a $150,000 assessment. Does everybody have those? So I gave you like what happened in 19 based on Mike's proposed budget and the recommendation. And then I gave you a breakdown of 3 proposed budgets with different assessments, one at 150, one at 155, one at 160. And that's based on the current tax duplicate and the allocation. You'll see the breakout for each community. At 150,000, Macedonia would be 67,681. Sycamore Hills would be 47,556. Northfield Center would be 24,500, and the village would be 10,260. Then you can see the assessments from there. Any thoughts on this? I have never gone through this before in figuring out the assessment. So what I did was I estimated the budget across the board and tried to calculate exactly what we would need. Our expenses this year are going to be $218,000. That's quite a bit more than expenses last year, which were $162,000. The reason for that are the $16,000 worth of tree work that was actually done in the previous year in 19, but I inherited that bill in 20, so that's why it's in 20. We also bought the new piece of equipment and a computer for Dan, and that was 30,000 roughly. And then we replaced the furnace at 3,000. So those items total basically $49,000. So we also have those signs that we purchased, the new signs, and that's another about 4,000. But I kind of wanted to give you like, why is there a difference between expenses last year and expenses this year? Now, given that I kind of calculated what we thought income would be, and roughly about $35,000 from grave sales. And then kind of what the expenses would be across the board. So I'm roughly estimating we need another 115,000 to get through the year. We're currently at $202,000 as of May 1. 202, 974, 203. So if we had $150,000, we should end the year, assuming all those projections are right, at about 264 with the same assessment. It's a lot to take in.
If we don't change the assessment, what's your projection?
If we keep the same assessment, we should end up with 264,000 at year end, assuming the same income is coming in that we normally would expect, and the expenses are as we've calculated. Our expenses, I think, are going to be about 218. We have about 100. We spent 105 so far, Jan. Most of that was related to, the big items, the equipment, the signs, the trees, right? And then our normal expenses. So projecting the rest of the year out, we should end up at another $115,000. If we have 35,000 coming in from grave sales, and we have had about half of that so far, right, Dan? Because we just had the latest one. We had $17,000 going into this conversation today, and he sold another couple yesterday, right? So that was another $1,700. So we're on target to hit it about $35,000 of grave sales. So with the 35,000 coming in the door, 203,000 in the pot today, and the $150,000 of assessment plus normal expenses, we should end up at 260,000. 263,000 is what 64, I calculated. 264, sorry. Then if we went up by $5,000, that would increase our balance to 269.
Yeah, I think everybody's gonna think the same thing. Macedonia is projected to lose 3.5 million,
Wow.
and we have a budget meeting tonight. So for us to say that we would agree to increase something, I can't really do it till we get through our budget. Because we're trying to figure out where can we save the money, what do we do right now?
And
So
I
from
think
my perspective in Macedonia, we'd have to stay the same this year and entertain it next year if we get out of this pandemic.
And I think we are completely comfortable. I am completely comfortable at the same assessment working through this. I think we'll be in good shape.
Okay.
So I actually recommended that in that letter that we would just keep the assessment the same. In fact, we're kind of decreasing it. It was the number last year was $150,371. We're just going to round that to 150,000.
Okay.
Okay, and Macedonia's assessment currently was $67,783. It'll go down about $100 to $67,681.
Okay. Paul, what's your feeling?
Well, we were going to defer to Macedonia because you were taking a harder hit. We would have gone to 49, just to have a what if, an oops factor. But yeah, we were willing to go to the 155,000 assessment. But if you guys have to hold the line because of your finances, we're fine.
Mayor, you have any thoughts?
I have to hold the line because the casino shut down.
Yeah, and
You don't want to roll the dice?
No way.
Yeah, it's a sad thing to say. I don't think we would have had an issue if it wasn't where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But I think we're on the right track that we need to take a look at it again next year.
Okay. So is then there a motion that I propose to all the communities, the budget at 150,000 with the assessments as follows: 67,681 for Macedonia, 47,556 for Sagamore Hills, 24,500 for Northfield Center, and 10,260 for Northfield Village. And there's a little bit of pennies in there, but that's the amount.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, so then I will present that on the 14th, I believe, at Macedonia's meeting.
Right, and here's what I'm gonna do before we move on to the next subject. Right now, we have our work session scheduled at 7 and the meeting's at 7:30.
Yeah.
Normally, what we do is we have the community meeting prior to the Macedonia meeting. So we could start the cemetery meeting at 7 and I'll push back our work session to 6:30.
Okay,
Does that work?
yep.
That's traditionally what we do when we're,
Okay.
because do
So,
you think you'll need a half an hour or 15 minutes? I think with the one bit of discussion, it may be a little longer.
yeah, so I was gonna hope for maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes and I will finish by,
Okay. All right, then we'll do if everyone's in agreement with that, I'll just readjust our schedule to say that I'll push my work session back to 6:30 and we'll start the cemetery at 7.
fair enough.
And of course, it's all live. So if you guys want to come watch the work session, feel free.
Sure. We're gonna be doing this, we're gonna be in your chambers though, correct? In person.
It's gonna be, because he's extended it to the end of the month for the stay at home, it's gonna be on YouTube or at my meetings.
So it'll be a Zoom meeting kind of circumstance. So I'll get the password to be able to log in or the
Right.
information and we'll go.
Yeah, I'll just have Nick send it out to every, our guy, Kyle, I'll have him send it out to everybody.
Fair
Because I'll make sure that he includes all of the counselors and trustees, because everyone is invited always
enough.
for
Okay.
each of the communities. So we're gonna have to make sure we invite everybody. So I'll make a note and have him do that.
And I'll gather all the emails for you and send them to you. So they're all in one group. It'll be easier that way.
Okay, thank you.
The next thing we need to do is we need to go into an executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes, the sale of property at competitive bidding, or the sale or other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property in accordance with 505.10 of the Revised Code. If premature disclosure would lead to unfair, competitive, or bargaining advantage to any person, etc. So that's under 121.22 G2 of the Revised Code. So I need a motion
Make a motion.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion carries. So we're gonna stop the live stream. So just a moment.